Are we ready, Bob? Okay. I'm here this evening with my brother, Dr. Gingrich, president of St. Bonaventure University. Between my Jeep in the early hours this morning and right now, it's about 39 degrees warmer. And so enjoy the warm weather. It won't last long. Good evening. My name is Daniel DeMar. I'm the president of Jamestown Community College, and I want to welcome you to this campus here in Olean and this fantastic Cutco Theater. We're pleased to host the 5th Laine Business Accelerator Showcase and the after event that will be in our student union just across the quad. While the purpose for this evening is to hear from the businesses who participated in the Laine Business Accelerator program, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the businesses that participated in the 2nd JCC Hatch Entrepreneurship Program. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the Hatch Entrepreneurship Program, it is an 8-week program designed for startup businesses to gain knowledge on topics such as how to market your business, legal strategies for business protection, strategies for successful hiring and building teams, customer discovery and market research, finance fundamentals for small business success, and succession planning. The Hatch program is led by Brianna Stayer, the JCC Coordinator of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and Kathleen Martell, Director of Workforce Development for the Olean campus. Are Bree and Shay in the room? Would you stand so we can recognize you? There were 7 startups in the 2025 cohort, our second. Some of them are with us this evening, or I think they are. If you are in the room, will you please stand as I name your business? Charles Givens, Just Vibe Events and Entertainment. Vivian Whitaker, That's a Wrap Entertainment Services. Megan Warner, Zipper Ghost. Amanda Hobart, Ramonda Paints. Ashley Hatch, Whistle Stop Wellness. Carrie Milliron, 7-1 Sips, and if she's not here, you get a chance to meet her a little bit later. And Christina Collins, Southern Tier Event Planning. I don't know if any are in the room, but whether or not they're in the room, can we acknowledge them as well, please? One of tonight's participants was in the entrepreneurship program, the Hatch program, last year, which I think demonstrates the importance of this entrepreneurial ecosystem that the OBDC, St. Bonaventure, and JCC are building together for the benefit of our community, and we're doing this in partnership. So to have a business that comes in as a startup in the Hatch program and then presents tonight is a path that we want to continue to build, and hopefully we'll see some of the 7 that came through the Hatch this last year on stage next year for the showcase. On a final note, in case you missed it, 3 weeks ago, JCC named the James Ian Carroll Stitt Center for Entrepreneurship. We did this in honor of the extraordinary commitment of Jim and Carol and the Stitt family for their vision and commitment to our community and to build on their legacy of innovation, leadership, and collaboration. Please join me in acknowledging Jim and Carol. Again, welcome and thank you for being here this evening for the showcase, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Gingrich.
Thank you, Daniel. Welcome, everyone. This has become one of my favorite nights of the year because I think it really represents the spirit of Cattaraugus County, of Olean, of Allegheny, and of this great community that we have here. It's truly a pleasure to welcome you to this. I've learned in my 3.5 years here in the community from many of you out there that in a place like Olean, entrepreneurship isn't just about it's not just about a business. It's about renewal. It's about resilience. It's about community building. And there's so much a part of that ecosystem that we talk about that's so important. It's about job creation, economic growth. Every new venture here means new jobs, new investments, and more dynamic local economy. That's what we're looking for. It's about innovation and problem solving. Our entrepreneurs bring fresh perspectives and innovative solutions to local challenges, breathing new life into our community and diversifying our industrial landscape. And it's also about creating a culture of opportunity. And I've heard that word used a lot in this community, creating cultures of opportunities. At St. Bonaventure, we're proud to foster this kind of spirit, especially in our School of Business, where folks like Todd and Tom and Dean James are generating an enthusiasm for entrepreneurship and creativity, problem solving. So that in that way, we know we're not just educating students, we're creating responsible, ethical leaders who are prepared to launch ventures right here in Western New York in the same way that JCC does here on this campus. So tonight, I know you'll witness firsthand the creativity and passion of our newest local business owners. I've really come to enjoy this night, as I said. Among the great businesses you'll see tonight, you'll see a lot of great things, but it's also an example of the great things we can do when we partner with Jamestown Community College, which we value so much. As a Franciscan university, we love these kind of nights because they exhibits not only business again, but the Franciscan values that we talk about, which are universal, which are compassion, wisdom, and integrity, and ways to better the lives of everyone around us. So look forward to tonight. Please join me in supporting these bold pioneers, not just tonight, but as they move forward and do great things. These people who are going to be up on the stage tonight are the ones who are helping us to write the next chapter of Olean's success story. And so really looking forward tonight. And we're so glad we got a great crowd out in this wintry weather. And with that, I'm going to introduce one person who I think may be the best MC in all of Cattaraugus County, Western New York, and that's our own Tom Cullen. Tom, come on up.
Okay, thank you guys. Who's excited to be here? I am. So, first things first, thank you. Thanks to every single person that's here. Thank you to everyone who's watching the stream online. And thank you to everyone who has been a part of this for all 5 years. Thanks to you guys for supporting, for each of us to supporting. Thanks to the Stitz, thanks to the Laines, thanks to all of our supporters. We would not be here without you. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that over the next few minutes. And then don't worry, after I'm done, pretty much all we're going to hear from after me is our amazing entrepreneurs. And that's why we're here, and we're super excited. These are the partners that we've already heard about. It's the OBDC, it's Bonaventure, it's JCC working together. This is real community. For 5 years, I've stood up here and talked about the community, and we're still here, and we're still going. And the cool part about this is the funding started off completely private, and it has evolved into the bottom half of this slide. The bottom half is funding from outside of our area where people saw what we were doing, what these entrepreneurs have been doing, and decided to fund more programming, more years of this. And that's awesome. That shows that we're making real progress. These are the people who have worked day in and day out, and the people in the top row are our interns this year. And where are you guys? Stand up. You're all over the place. You're hesitant to stand up, but thank you guys for all the hard work. If you got an email, if you got social media, it's from this team. And this is everyone from the start of when we started the program. There's one person, though, that has been a part of this day all 5 years and never gets recognition. And his name is Danny Bush. And this is Danny a few years ago. And he was a little stressed out, and he was sitting here. And, of course, me being me, I had to take a selfie with him. And and whatnot. Danny is behind the microphone or behind the booth or whatever. Thank you, Danny, seriously, for all your support. Yeah. 5 years. We're standing here today after 5 years of this. That's 155 applications, and it's 38 businesses that have gone through the program. That's with those 38 businesses, we've given, here's the 38 businesses. You might remember a few, and then the new ones are down here on the bottom. We've given those businesses $200,000 over the last 5 years. And that's thanks to the support in this room. It's thanks to the support of everyone. That $200,000, that support that you guys have given them has had monumental success in terms of jobs. Hundreds of jobs this has added to our area. I tried to convince Bob Fornes here that I could get up here and say, Siemens left, and we've added more jobs since they left than they took when they left. And he said, no, that's not true. But we're getting there. We're close. Next year. So, and I said, never let the truth get in the way of a good story or good statistic. And so I still said it, Bob. But seriously, these are real jobs. 55% of the jobs that are in our community are from small businesses. And this is the way that we can grow our community in a vibrant way. The value that this has brought hasn't just stopped at the Laine Accelerator. And Dr. DeMart got up here and talked about the hatchling. And C4 Consulting, which is the consulting organization at St. Bonaventure, has developed in amazing ways. We started the SBU Growth Conference, which was just a few weeks ago. There's pitch competitions. We've had businesses from other cohorts call up and say, I want to support you. I want to buy lunch for the cohort this year. One of our people up here started the Women's Day Conference, and there's just been an inflow of community building capital. And that's coming from inside of our community, and now it's coming from outside of our community. This is what we've been trying for. We've had huge wins, and I had to put this on here today because I went on LinkedIn and I saw that Dr. Corinne McLean made a post. Dr. McLean was in our first cohort. She built her company, Paragon, and she announced today that she exited it in a very positive way. That is a huge win. We didn't do that. She did it. She's part of our community. Go to Meals. I see Ethan. Go to Meals is another cool story. We have a lot of these stories of people that are going through the hatchling, then coming into this program. Bree spent time at JCC, Bonaventure, JCC, and where are you going to go next, Bree? I don't know. But Go to Meals is a story that's really close to my heart. I run the entrepreneurship class with Dr. Palmer, and a year ago, Ethan showed up to our class, like some of the other students here, and he was hoping for an easy A. And what happened is he was saying, hey, I want to work on, his group said, I want to work on something healthy. And I had just gotten a call from Dion of Go to Meals, who owns Go to Meals, and Dion's like, hey, I'm looking to sell. So I said to Ethan, why don't you buy Go to Meals? He's a senior in college. He's showing up for an A. He has no idea what he's getting himself into. We stayed till about midnight that night talking about this. At 6 a.m., he's on the phone with Dion saying, Dion, what is the deal here? And with basically no money, he bought $1 million in revenue business by the end of the second semester. So that is this community. This is how this works. And if it wasn't for the community that's here to help him with all sorts of things, including funding and loans and things like that, that story doesn't happen. And since then, he started right away and opened up a location in Buffalo and is just taking off. And that's a story. We need to give Ethan a round of applause. These are the wins that we have to celebrate as a community. We have to celebrate all the wins. It doesn't matter where they come from. We're all in this together. Every single person is in this together. If you've ever had a go-to meal, you are a reason for that. And if you haven't, get over there and have one. So I'm up here with a microphone. They said they'd give me 5 minutes, and I'm probably over at this point, but I have to have an ask. So we identify a lot of gaps in our entrepreneurial ecosystem, and we look to fill them. And it's not just us, but it's a whole community of people. You're going to hear more about them later. But one of the gaps we have is investment capital. It's not uncommon to have this gap. But there are people in our community that would be good investors, that are interested in investing. And there's companies that are looking to raise money, which means sell a piece of their company for some money. It's an alternative way to invest. And so starting tonight, we're going to build a list of investors. There's no commitment or anything like that. It's just like, hey, here's my email. If somebody's interested, they can shoot me an email. If you are that person or you know somebody who might be, have them reach out to us. And we're going to build that list. There are companies that are in the audience today and a lot in this area that are going outside for funding and for that investment. And when they win, like we just talked about some winners, that money, that investment money goes outside. So part of the ecosystem is keeping it inside on some levels. So I'll be at the after party enjoying a Rocket Cup coffee espresso martini, and you can hit me up there. This is what it's all about. Human impact fuels economic impact. That's why you're here. Thank you for being here. It's now time for the show. This is from last night. We have our first person up, Josh Fuller.
What's up, guys? I'm honored to kick this bad boy off tonight. My name's Josh Fuller, and I own a metal company called Fuller's Fabrication. Our business offers welding, powder coating, metal fabrication, and CNC plasma cutting. I'm going to take you guys back a little ways to 2015. So when I graduated high school, I decided I didn't want to go to college, so I was going to continue to work for my dad. So after about 13 years with him, I decided I needed change. Somewhere along the way, I got a job as a welder at a factory, and it lasted about 2 weeks maybe, and I said, I don't want to work for anybody either. So I grabbed a $45 angle grinder, a Lincoln welder that I still use in my shop today. I started building these things. Now, I joke today because I think they're super boring, and I still can't believe anybody paid me for them, because I'd eventually go from these to these. So you might be wondering how the heck I cut that out by hand, and I can honestly say I'm not that good. What happened was I stumbled across a machine that would change everything, the CNC plasma table. Like any other entrepreneur, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no money, no finances, so I bought it anyways. From there, I would not spend a ton of time on YouTube learning out how to run the machine and run a business. And after a bunch of wasted material and a couple new curse words, I started to get the hang of it. I then created myself this YouTube certification, and Fuller's Fabrication was born. So from there, I was working out of a little section of my dad's shop, and I started an Etsy store. So I started designing and creating products all around the world, And I was doing maybe, I'd say 200 to 300 items a year for about 3 years when I stumbled across a product that changed my life. I designed and created this in October 2023. I launched on a Saturday morning and woke up Sunday morning with over 3,000 orders. The piece had gone viral, and little did I know, I was in for the hardest 4 months of my career. After the dust settled, though, I used my same entrepreneur mindset, and I took all that money and that hard work I just did, and I spent every bit of it. I then purchased a property about less than a mile from my house, and built a shop. From there, I went on to create over 200 items on Etsy, and even landing some of them on Etsy's bestseller list. As satisfying as this was, it wasn't as satisfying as what I was able to do for the community. I want to take a minute to mention a company out of Portville called Rusty Rooster. Gene and Justin Smith were the first people to ever give me a chance or an opportunity, and when I first met them, I really had nothing to offer, just a bunch of ambition. So after a big learning curve, we were to go on to collaborate on some really cool projects, like this table we made for a company you might have heard of called Rocket Cup Coffee. Jean's a real reason why I'm here today. She wanted me to be a part of the LBA, and I really want to thank them. After working with Rusty Rooster, though, I kind of wanted to get back to the community more. So I started working with more local businesses, and I wanted to give back to that same podcast community that changed my life all these years ago. So I was able to create some really cool pieces for some really cool people throughout the years. And if there's anyone out there tonight that would like to give me the opportunity to share my creativity with you, I have a discount code in your bags tonight for 20% off our shop. So if you need any metal decor for your house, a business sign for your business, or some unique metal merchandise, I'm your guy. Before we go, though, I'd like to announce that we are launching a new item. It is like a little metal card that fits in your wallet, and our idea is to put brands and businesses on them. And shout out to Colin Sullivan from St. Bonaventure University. He was the inspiration behind this piece. And not only do they look cool, they work even better. Thank you guys for your time. Cheers.
All right, Josh, that was awesome. Molly Vaughn with 1900 Wax, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Molly Vaughn. I am the founder of 1907 Wax and managing owner. So before I tell you about the business, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself tonight. So first and foremost, I'm a woman of faith. The Lord is my everything. And here I have pictures of me and my husband. I'm also a wife. We just got married in Jamaica in December, and I'm very, very happy to be a wife. I'm also a mother. These are my boys. I have these three handsome men in the crowd tonight, Roman and Warren. They're actually twins. I know they don't look like twins, but they are. So they keep me very, very busy. So these are the main things in my life. So a few more things. I'm a very busy person, as you can see. So I'm an entrepreneur. So that 13 is there because at the age of 13, I started my first business. I signed up to be an Avon consultant under my mother's name. So the Avon lady came out and she thought she was signing up my mother, and it was me at 13 years old. And I actually ran a pretty successful business all the way through high school selling Avon. So that was pretty exciting. I'm also an occupational therapist, so I'm an OTR, very proud to be an occupational therapist and helping people with occupations of their daily lives. I'm a faculty member at St. Bonaventure University. I am so proud to be at that university and just so grateful for all the opportunities that I have to work with our students there. I also am the vice president of the newly formed Cuba Rushford Community Football Club, helping communities in our area. And that's the first time you've seen that logo and the first time the public has heard that name, because it actually is just being unveiled shortly here. I'm on the Interfaith Caregivers Board, so we service individuals in our region here and help those in need. I'm also an occupational therapist in the country of Jamaica, so my husband is Jamaican, and I developed the first OT program at the University of the West Indies. So I really like to give back. And I am an alum of ECC, UB, and currently getting my doctorate in education at D'Youville University. So as you can see, I'm very, very busy. I don't know where the time goes sometimes, but somehow I manage all of these things, and I'm really, really passionate about this region, and I'll kind of explain some of that along the way. So the inception of 1907 Wax. So I'm from Buffalo, born and raised in Buffalo. I love Buffalo. But in 2020, I was going through some life changes. I was getting a divorce. Of course, we had COVID going on too. Lots of things were happening, and I wanted to start all over. So I looked to see maybe I could find an OT job somewhere. And I found that Olean General Hospital was hiring an outpatient occupational therapist. So I applied for the job, found an apartment in Cuba, and I never looked back. So I decided that Cuba was my home, and this is Cuba here on the right, and I just love Cuba. But as I was kind of going around the village and strolling along, I saw a lot of empty storefronts. And my entrepreneurial spirit kicked in and said, what the heck, I should start a business down here. And I was still driving back and forth to Buffalo for pretty much all of my needs because I hadn't been completely settled in yet. So I was still going up there for all my hair care needs and waxing and all those things, and 3 hours round trip, especially down Route 16, sometimes isn't exactly exciting, right? So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna start something up. So I decided to go and get trained. I spent almost a whole summer driving back and forth to a BOCES program and became certified in waxing. And I started my 1907 Wax LLC. So you say, why 1907, right? Some people think that it's the address, and then they find out we're at 4 Genesee Street, and they're really confused. But in 1907 is when my ancestors came across a big boat called the Carpathia. I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but they came over here and they started their lives in America. They were so proud to be American, and that was in year 1907. So when I started this business, I wanted it to be really meaningful. This is actually a picture of their American restaurant in Hagerstown, Maryland. That's my great-grandfather and great-grandmother behind the bar there. So what we offer at 1907 Wax, we bring big city salon services to the small town here. I could not find anywhere to get a Brazilian wax, okay? I was driving back and forth, and I did find one place, and they would not take any new clients because they were very, very booked. So I said, we have a need, and we have some services we can do. So we do full body waxing, Brazilian waxing, Manzilian waxing. I offered Bob Fornes to come up here and get a wax tonight, and he declined. So you do have a coupon for a wax in all your bags, though. So if anybody changes their mind and wants to come and get one, we're here for you. Lash lifts, brow lifts. We sell premium product lines, so all Amica hair care products. We have the whole line. We sell Zandyland aftercare for waxing products and things like that, too. We're the only acrylic nail studio in Cuba, New York. So that was pretty cool. Pedicures, hair services, lash extensions, facials, and a lot of this list was expanded because people were coming to us and wanting these services. So we want to help meet the community needs. So our current team, location, and clients. So we have a team of 3 people now. What I really love about this is I'm so passionate about bringing not only business to the region, but to create jobs, right? So I'm able to give people an opportunity with our commission-based model where they don't really have a lot of experience, and I'm training them and getting them ready to provide these services and creating those jobs for our region. We have over 400 clients, which is really amazing, that are coming through every 3 to 6 weeks or so. So right now we have a storefront at 4 Genesee Street in Cuba. We have 2 waxing rooms, 2 nail stations, and 1 hair station. So the future, though. So the LBA has really pushed me to think of goals that I have for the business that maybe I just wasn't taking the jump or the leap of faith at the moment. And one thing that Tom Cullen said, one of our sessions, he said, take that 3-year goal and create a plan to crush that in 3 months. And I told him he put me over the edge that day. And he kind of did, as everyone else kind of felt too. But I decided to finally buy that building that's been for sale. So I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and the price dropped, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy it. So this is the new location that we're actually closing on at the end of this month. And I really wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for the LBA and the support that I have. So what is this going to do for us? It's going to give us 4 times the salon space that we currently have now. We're adding 3 area renters, so we're having 3 more people that will be working and, traveling to Cuba and supporting our ecosystem. 8 commercial spaces, so I'm very passionate about giving other people the opportunity to start a business as well. So we'll have 8 small spaces that people could rent for business startups. And then the second story, right now it is a big open space. It's actually an old theater, and it's right down to the studs. So I have some dreams of either turning it into a renovated event center, because we desperately could use one in Cuba, or residential units to have more housing in the area, because that's also a need. So I'm open to some suggestions if anyone has any guidance on what we can do with this second story. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you to my Lord Jesus, my Savior. He's my everything. Without him, nothing is possible. He gives me the breath of my lungs. Next is my husband. He supports me so much, sometimes gives me a little bit of tough love when I can't make a decision, and he just tells me what I got to do, but he's really, really helpful, and I love him dearly. I thank the Laine Business Accelerator for accelerating my business, like giving me that push, helping me meet some people in this region, because I'm mainly in healthcare. I didn't know anyone in the business realm in this region. And lastly, I want to thank St. Bonaventure University, because the university is really supportive of me as a faculty member, as an entrepreneur, and also with helping get some of those programs with the students out there in this entrepreneurial ecosystem. So thank you to everyone. And lastly, I did want to say too, has anybody seen this Jamaican guy around town with this truck? So that's my husband. This is us picking up the truck, custom ordered. He custom ordered that truck, and so please stop by and visit the truck this next spring when he opens up. And it's great that we're both entrepreneurs and kind of work real hard, to support this region. So please come by and see us. And here's the contact info. So for the salon, all appointments are made online. This QR code is for our website. You also have your coupon, so please come and see us. It's in the bag. But see us for your beauty needs. Please come and see us. We'd love to welcome you to our 1907 family. And if you have anyone that you know that might need some services or needs that Manzilian wax that Bob gave up, send them our way. So thank you so much, and I appreciate this opportunity.
All right, thank you, Molly. Next up, we have Jeff Andrews with Pine Hill Cattle Company.
Good evening. I am Jeff Andrews with Pine Hill Cattle Company. We are a small dairy, beef, and poultry operation located in Randolph, New York. We sell our milk commercially, and we sell our beef and poultry direct to consumers. We sell whole, half, and quarter animals, where the consumer gets to pick how it's cut. We also do sell a limited supply of beef by the piece, and we sell our chicken by the piece and as in whole birds as well. I own and operate this farm. My parents, Tom and Margie Andrews, and I got to thank them a lot. They were pretty flexible on Friday mornings when I was at the Laine and some early mornings. I also need to thank my fiance, Samantha Stair, for pushing me to do this and helping me with the slideshow. Cows really don't do slideshows, so I was a little rusty. Our story begins in 1893, and that's when the first Andrewses moved to Pine Hill Road. And over the years, the farm grew and shrunk, and neighboring farms were purchased, and barns were built, all kind of answer the same question of how do we do this better for our generation and the generation that follows. If you would have asked 10-year-old Jeff on Christmas morning while he was feeding cows or milking cows instead of opening Christmas presents if growing up on a small dairy farm was the best way to grow up, he would have told you no. That was not the ideal way to do things. However, if you ask 29-year-old Jeff, he would tell you the opposite thing and tell you it's the best way to grow up, and really enjoyed all of those experiences and life lessons. And I was never quite as good at Call of Duty or Guitar Hero as my classmates, but I could run a pitchfork and wrestle a steer better than any of them. One of the tricky things about growing up on a small dairy farm is dairy farm is a little bit like doing math. You get hooked and you're done. And so, after graduating high school, I was able to go on to college, and all kind of with the intent of returning home to the family farm one day. And after graduating from Cornell, I worked for 2 years at a large farm in central New York and had the opportunity to return home. And kind of trying to answer that generational question of how do we do this better for our generation and the generation that follows. And what came to mind was something a Cornell professor told me, and he said, the number one thing that affects dairy farm profitability, and especially with small farms, is milk price. And you don't get to control it, so good luck. And so we kind of looked at like, hey, how can we control our price? And we looked at processing our own milk, and just that was too expensive and a little too risky for the farm. And so we settled on selling beef and chicken. We already had raised some steers, and so we said, hey, let's start selling it to people. And when we first got into it, we kind of thought, you got a product, people will come and get it, and realized it was a little more complicated than that. And over the years, we got pretty good at it, and now we're to the point where we sell out in advance and are always trying to book more and more butcher dates and raise more chickens so we can sell them. And while going through that process, we had to ask ourselves, why is this important? Why is it important that someone buys their food from us? And we really realized it's probably one of the biggest things they can do to support their local economy. When you write a check to us for half an animal, you also write a check to the local butcher. And I can give a whole other presentation on why we need more of those, and there's not enough of those in the area, but that's for another time. And then that check you write to us, we also then divvy up. Some goes to the feed mill, the hardware, the local tractor dealership, and any other bills we have to pay. And all that money stays right in the community. And really a great example of why it's important is, like, when my dad was growing up, there was 4 farms on Pine Hill Road. And today, there are 4 to 5 farms in Randolph, New York. And to support those, the multitude of farms that were there back in the day, there was 2 feed mills in the town of Randolph. And today, to the best of my knowledge, there's not a single feed mill in Cattaraugus County. And all those jobs are lost that help support those small farms. So what's next for us? As we move on from milking cows and into raising solely beef and poultry and maybe some pork, we look to open our own butchering facility someday and have a retail store. While we will sell our own meat, we also look to be able to provide a connection point for other local producers in the community to be able to sell their meat direct to consumer. There's plenty of local farms who raise beef, but they don't have the wherewithal to be able to sell that direct to consumers, and let alone the butchering capacity in the community to do that. So thank you very much. If you guys could follow us on Facebook, that's a great way to keep track with what's going on the farm. And next time you're looking to fill your freezer or just buy a steak or maybe a couple chickens, give me a call. Thank you very much.
Outstanding. All right, next up we have Brian Rodman with Turbo Machining.
Good evening, and thank you for coming out, everyone. Turbo Machining has been in business for 2 years, and I wanted to show this slide first. It's hard to believe in 2 years that we make parts that go in nuclear reactors and guided missile cruisers. So I'm pretty excited to share my background and also to share what our team at Turbo Machining does and brings to the local community. So I'm Brian Rodman, I'm the president of Turbo Machining. We're located in the former Kmart Plaza in Allegheny. It was reconstructed and remodeled by the Kinley Corporation, so a lot of local business going on there. The right side of the plaza is a storage unit, and on the left is our factory, Turbo Machining. My wife Jennifer and I relocated here to Olean, New York from Virginia Beach, and we've been here 25 years after I got out of the U.S. Navy. At the end of Operation Desert Shield, we returned home from the war, and I met my older son, Andrew, who was at that time 4 months old. And we decided we wanted to come to a smaller community and build our lives in a place where we could work, study, and to grow within the community. I used my GI Bill to go to RIT and graduated in the PE program there with mechanical and electrical engineering disciplines. My wife went to St. Bonaventure University, go Bonas. She's been teaching at Eastview here in Olean for over 20 years. So we take a lot of pride in the community and give back. We did, since we've dropped our roots here, our sons are Olean High School alum. They both went to JCC here. And we do a lot for the kids in the community. So that's one of the things I personally take a lot of pride in is I'm on the board for Dream It, Do It. And one of our missions, Chris and my partners there talk about often is it's healthy for us to coach the kids coming out of high school that you can be a professional that doesn't, in something that doesn't require a 4-year degree. The world is desperate for plumbers, electricians, and of course, machinists. Another of my personal favorites is Cy Borer from Dresser Rand was a great mentor to me long ago, and he started a program and I became heavily involved in and kind of carried that down the field where we go into the elementary schools and read books about friendship with the kids to battle bullying. So that's something that I really take a lot of pride and enjoyment in. We have 9 Turbo Machining teammates, and we combined together to have over 200 years of experience in CNC machining and rotating equipment. I'm very proud to say that our team is also very generous. So we donate a lot of time to activities like the Soapbox Derby here at Oak Hill Park, and also in veterans programs such as Wounded Warrior golf tournaments. And Pine Acres does a really cool golf tournament called Golf for Heroes, and our team also participates in this. So on to Turbo Machining. Turbo Machining is a veteran-owned business, so 60% of our ownership has veteran status. And after my time in the Navy, I spent 8 years at Dresser Rand. I went on the road for 8 years with GE Oil and Gas, also in rotating equipment. And then in 2019, I came off the road to run Scott Rotary Seals. One of my friends had purchased Scott Rotary Seals from the Scott family. And as a general manager, we basically went on a crusade and a mission of growth. We took SRS right here in Olean. We hired 6 employees over 3 years and grew the business from 1.6 million to 4 million. And that was during the COVID era. So we sold that business to Cadent Technologies. They are still located here in Olean. But the rotating equipment industry is a really tight network. We learned early that Dresser Rand was going to be closing their Olean manufacturing operation. And there was a great concern for availability of aftermarket components such as impellers, like the one you see in the top or bottom left-hand corner, excuse me. But my partner Bob Skaggs and I started work immediately once that announcement came out. We were working with the JCC, Jamestown actually, business development squad. And Bob and I worked pretty hard for many weeks on developing a strong business plan and also a sales strategy plan, which enabled us to launch the business right here in our area. We pulled together some of the best talent in modern applications engineering and in robotics. One of the things that turbo machining is founded on is state-of-the-art technology, as I'll share with you in a moment. So turbo machining was formed in late 2023, and we have completed 2 years of operation just on Thanksgiving. So it was this extra special Thanksgiving for us this year. When we first started, Bob and I went across the country and probably hit 10 different auctions of machine shops that were closing. And it was pretty scary. One of the first things I used to do when I'd go into a machine shop auction was find the owner and ask them why they were closing. And what I found was that many of them were hand-me-down shops or generational shops where they did not stay engaged with the growth and technology that's out there. And I'm sure everybody's heard things like AI and robotics, and it can be scary, but it really is important for our industry to develop and grow with them. So one of the things we focused on was technology. Turbo machining differentiates by having a heavy focus on technology and world-class talent. We have state-of-the-art Akuma manufacturing cells. You can see one here in the top left-hand corner. And then we actually recently acquired a new robotic CMM measuring machine, which there are only 2 manufacturing facilities in our region that have both 5-axis milling capabilities and robotic inspection capabilities. And we have that right here in Allegheny, New York. That puts us in a class of, as a precision machine shop with that capability and a OEM product offering, it puts us in an elite group of factories where we are in a select group of less than 5% in our industry. Again, right here in the Olean area. And we take a lot of the difficult projects. So turbo machining, most of the shops won't touch a lot of the work that we do because it's made of high stainless or high nickel alloys, as well as the requirements for inspection are much higher. We do a lot of work for the oil and gas industry, Department of Energy and the Department of Defense, automation, and custom machine building. We make impellers, bearings, seals, and you can see some of the products that we make here. In the bottom right-hand corner is actually a product that our machines go into. So a lot of the machinery that we're building goes into the turbo pump and compressor industry. There's, even though Dresser-Rand left the area and Siemens now runs that company, there is a pretty strong presence here locally still with their engineering, and we do have a really good network. We do a lot of work with those groups, Atlas Copco Compressor, Joy Compressor. One of the things that I'm really excited about is we recently built a cryogenic test chamber for the Oak Ridge Laboratory for the U.S. government. And we make a lot of nuclear reactor parts, actually. So it's pretty fun to be a part of that. And you can see some of the customer photos here of some of the things that we're working on currently. One of our big customers, Keller Technology, is right here in Buffalo, New York. And they do a lot of custom machine building. The Oak Ridge Laboratory and HIP, which is another company that gets involved heavily with nuclear power. HIP is actually located in Erie, Pennsylvania. So another regional customer that's really important to us. And over the last 2 years, it's been really exciting. We we've been on a strong trajectory of the growth of our company, and I got a call from another nuclear company, and there's an opportunity for us to, if we're going to acquire 2 robotic Swiss machines and start what we call midnight operations, which is a continuous manufacturing operation making nuclear components, and this will create 3 additional jobs. Currently, I showed earlier where we have 9 people. By the summertime, we're going to have 12 employees, and we will also, this project will boost our revenues by 30% over the next 4 to 6 months. So strong start, and I appreciate everyone's support. We are seeking a local investor to join us on this amazing journey, and I would be happy to talk to anyone about that at the after party. I think one of the most important things that I wanted to do before I left the stage was to thank the Laine family and the Stitt family, Tom, Bob, Steve, everyone. Joining the Laine Business Accelerator has just been an amazing opportunity for me, and I'm working with my boys right now to get them into the EOS, which is the Entrepreneur Operating System, and get them more structure and discipline, because it really does put rocket fuel in what you're working on. So thank you, everyone.
So I'm the Halftime Entertainment. Anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Bob Fornes. I'm the President and Executive Director for Olean Business Development. I've had the honor of joining OBDC in December of 2021, the day before the first showcase happened. So I've kind of been in all of them. I didn't know what was going on in the first one. I keep joking that, Jim Stitt hired me kind of hoping that I would figure it out, and I think I'm still figuring it out, but I'm having a great time doing it. I want to talk a little bit about an organization called the Catalyst Collective. So sorry for anybody in the audience that's already seen this, but we wanted to kind of introduce it to some other folks. The entrepreneurial ecosystem and the community that we're trying to create involves a whole bunch of different entrepreneurial and business support organizations. There's 10 of us, 10 organizations, 10 folks that have been meeting probably since 15 years ago. Crystal Abers, who's the head of economic development, tourism, and planning for the county, got everybody into this meeting. It turned into a lot of, what are you working on? What are you working on? So it was a lot of just making sure we weren't tripping over each other, but also making sure we weren't leaving anybody in the lurch. And then we kind of got into the, what else can we do? We got a lot of firepower. We got a lot of networking in this group. How can we make it better? Tom and I started in March of 2022 working with the Ralph Wilson Foundation, looking for money. As Tom talked about earlier, right? How do we infuse some money from outside the area into the area so that we can continue this growth pattern that we're on? Tom and I asked for $1 million in the first call, and they kind of laughed. They tapped us on the head, and they said, "You guys are cute. Let's get to know each other first." So we got through that dance, I call it, and we had some more conversations. They said, think bigger than OBDC, think bigger than the Entrepreneurship Center at St. Bonaventure. Think bigger than the hub. Think bigger than the LBA. What can you do in your region, in your area? Well, we were like, man, we got this team, and this team meets every other week. Let's figure out something to do there. So it's all turned into a $1 million grant from the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, $250,000 a year for 4 years. We were like, holy cow, now what? It was one of my favorite expressions that one of my really good friends, Jody, says, is shit's gonna get real. We got $1 million, what are we gonna do with it? Okay, let's go figure it out. So we figured instead of confusing people with all of our individual entities and what we're going to be doing with this money that's going to flow into our area, we said we need to brand ourselves. We need to separate from our day jobs and say, what can we do to continue to support the entrepreneurial ecosystem and community? So we created the Catalyst Collective. It's all 10 of us. We all still have our day jobs, but it's what else can we do? I'm going to show you about a 3-minute video, and then we'll get back to the entrepreneurs, but just to kind of introduce you to what we're up to.
The Catalyst Collective is an exciting thing for the community. We're all working together for the same purpose.
It's a group of different agencies that are involved in economic development and workforce development. We're taking funding from all of our agencies with help from the Ralph Wilson Foundation and being able to put backing behind these projects and watch them succeed.
Everybody that's there, they really are showing up to give and to figure out what's going to be best for everyone.
Where the larger economic development group focuses on everything, big business, small business, this is really an offshoot to focus specifically on entrepreneurship and small business. And all of a sudden it's just kind of become this synergy behind this bigger group that it created this offshoot, which is now the collective, that's focused on entrepreneurship and small business, which is really what we're focusing on with the collective, is those avenues.
We are pushing each other to build the whole county's economic system. We're able to take and create a plan that's going to grow the whole county and implement it. We're able to do that because of the leadership in the Catalyst Collective and the give first mentality. It's really about helping others to fly, and everyone is trying to do that.
The Catalyst Collective came out of the economic development team for Cattaraugus County because of the opportunities that the Ralph Wilson Foundation provided us. We are able to focus more specifically on projects that will benefit the community.
I was at home raising 7 kids, stay-at-home mom. Started reselling out of my house. Anything I could do to make a buck, kind of, I bought and resold. And we basically outgrew the house. So it's a big challenge going to that next step. Okay, well now I need an actual space. Now I've grown from that to 1 employee. Hiring that first employee was huge.
There is an opportunity in rural areas like this that people don't understand. With the right funding, areas like this could be just amazing places to raise your kids. You know, I didn't think I was capable of having 4 or 5 businesses. Every once in a while, I'll just have a flashback and think to myself, I can't believe we did that.
The program benefits our region by giving back to help our community thrive. So they're helping everybody's mission. It's a connection, it's hiring somebody, it's expanding your business or seed money. I started off with a food trailer and now I have a storefront in Lincoln Park, right in the heart of Olean.
There's a lot of potential in Cattaraugus County. By having a central location for businesses to reach out to, that just further enhances the chance of success. We want to improve the economic status of the county, and we're all working together to make that happen.
I believe that the community that we have here in Cattaraugus County, and the entrepreneurial community that we push each other to show up and to lead. This world needs leaders, and we have them right here in Cattaraugus County.
Feel what we're up to. There's more to be done, more that will be done. We're only in year 2, and we're excited to keep supporting entrepreneurs and the ecosystem in Cattaraugus County. So if you have any questions, hit me up in the after party. There's 3 programs that we've rolled out that we'd love to talk about. One of them is a Spark Fund, so it's a micro grant fund, and the word grant is really key in that sentence. We also have an on-the-job training program that Jason Miller runs, where he's focusing, so Jason's the Cattaraugus Allegheny Workforce Development that you just saw, focusing on trying to help entrepreneurs hire their first employee. As you heard Gene say from the Rusty Rooster, once you hire the first employee, that's a hard step to get over. You know, you got somebody that's now going to you're responsible for, right? You're going to be paying them. You're going to be, making sure that they're helping you the way you need to be helped. But what that turns into is the next employee and the next employee. So growth can really start to happen. And then the third is a community-based grant that we're working on. We're looking to select 3 communities throughout the county and help support them in their entrepreneurial endeavors. So without further ado, I am going to hand it over to Ms. Shayna Griffin and Adored Boards.
Loss, grief, depression. Strength, purpose, passion. Within 2 years of each other, I lost my brother and a boyfriend, both in their 30s. The definition of motivation has never meant more since these tragic events. Good evening. Thank you for being here to witness these glimpses of our journeys. I am so honored to be here before you along with my fellow cohort members and awesome leaders that have taken me on this journey the past 14 weeks. My name is Shayna. I am a private chef, a charcuterie artist, and a passionate entrepreneur who has turned loss into fuel and creativity into purpose. I'm not just building a business, I'm building something that heals, connects, and inspires. Being a mother while building a business is its own unique journey. The boys keep me on my toes, no doubt, but are also at the very core of why I do what I do. Just like my fellow cohort members and any entrepreneur in general, there were and still are nights of exhaustion, mornings of doubt, and moments when giving up felt easier than showing up. But every time I questioned myself, I thought about the example I wanted to set for the people in my life that matter. My family, these boys, my friends, and our community. I wanted them to see resilience, passion, and purpose in action. I wanted everybody to know that dreams are worth chasing and that creativity is a strength, not something to be quiet about. My business didn't begin with a perfect plan or even the intention of becoming a business at all. It started in the simplest, most meaningful place, my home kitchen, and every individual's home that I brought a dish to pass to. I discovered early on that food is more than nourishment. It's an experience, it's art, it's storytelling. And once I saw that, something inside of me woke up. I found myself fascinated not just by flavors, but by the beauty and arrangement of food. The colors, the textures, the movement. All the tiny details that turn a simple board or a simple plate into something people stop and admire before they even take a bite. That love turned into my first charcuterie boards, and those boards became a foundation of what would grow into a full-on charcuterie company, Adored Boards, and eventually a private chef business, Seven and Sage. I started receiving more requests for curated graze tables, custom boards, and eventually private dinners. People didn't just want the food, they wanted my touch, my vision, and the feeling that I pour into every creation. Just look. This is my passion. Either that or I have a really good iPhone camera. As demand grew, so did my confidence in the variety of events that I was being trusted with. What started with small, handheld charcuterie boards quickly evolved into full-scale culinary experiences. Today I cater weddings, themed parties, and corporate events. This is my little boy's birthday party, Donkey Kong. My other little boy, Buffalo Bills party. Here are some corporate events that were also themed, so NFL and the MLB. Throughout this accelerator, I've been able to take a passion and give it structure. It has me thinking beyond the plate, beyond what I can create with my own two hands on any given day. It's challenged me to think about things like scale, sustainability, and the long-term vision for my brand, things like expansion, execution. My brain's been able to work in a way that I didn't know was capable. All credit to the leaders, speakers, and other business owners that make up the 2025 LBA cohort. In the new year, I plan to develop a new expansion, a retail line of meal-focused spice kits and simmer pot blends. These kits will be in local grocery stores, as well as an online platform. The idea is to bring art, warmth, and flavor of my cooking directly into people's homes. They are easy, elevated, and infused with that private chef feeling without having to have a private chef present. I realize that while I can only be in one kitchen at a time, my flavors, techniques, and my perspective can live on hundreds of shelves and in thousands of homes. These kits are more than spices. They are extensions of my creativity, pieces of my story packaged in a way that people can create their own experiences. What I've learned throughout this journey is that entrepreneurship is not just strategy and execution. It's about courage. It's about being willing to take risks, to make mistakes, to learn quickly, and to keep moving. It's about believing in your vision even when the path isn't clear. It's about showing up for yourself again and again so that in turn you can show up for others, the ultimate goal. As I stand here today, I realize how far I've come, from the mom making dinner in her kitchen, to the artist curating edible moments, to the chef creating custom experiences, to now fully stepping into my role as a founder, ready to scale this brand with heart and soul. I am incredibly grateful to the local and reputable corporations that have trusted me, this Accelerator program, my mentors, my beautiful baby boys, and my family who I love more than anything. Also the community that has supported me along the way. Thank you for challenging me, encouraging me, and helping me bring structure to a dream that once only lived in my head. I am building something bigger than a business. I'm building a legacy of creativity, connection, and culinary art. I cannot wait to continue this journey and bring even more beauty, joy, and intention to the world through food. I have included a QR code to my social media platform. On there, you'll see a whole lot more of what I do. For those of you staying for the after party, I would love to connect, answer questions, or have an espresso martini. I suppose you're welcome to the charcuterie board as well. It's 15 feet, you can't meet it. You can't miss it. Enjoy it and be present in this moment that we have together tonight. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
I definitely stole a piece of cheese already. Next up, Jake Alianello with MDA Consulting Engineers.
All right, good evening. Who here has thought about your drinking water and wondered, where does it come from? Is it safe? How much of an inconvenience will it be if it isn't working? Who here has dealt with a backed up sewer connection to your home or business, or a failed septic system in your yard? Or had to deal with the problem of flooding or water damage? I'm Jake Alianello, and I'm a licensed professional engineer and one of the owners of MDA Consulting Engineers, PLLC, located in Ellicottville, New York, right in the heart of our county. And we deal with these types of problems and situations. I'm also a Cattaraugus County native, and I live with my incredible wife and my children on the same beautiful farm I grew up on, looking out over the village of Cattaraugus. Who can agree with me that Cattaraugus County is a wonderful place to raise a family and to live? Right? So I grew up around engineering as my father, Mark Alianello, founded a firm in 1982 as a sole proprietorship in Ellicottville. In 2009, well, I should step back and say I was convinced to go to college for engineering and follow in his footsteps. That makes me a third-generation engineer. And in 2009, several years after completing college, I had the opportunity to move back here and join my father alongside one of my college roommates, Caleb Henning, who moved from Ohio. And in 2014, after we earned our engineering licenses, we joined my father in ownership, and we became MDA Consulting Engineers, PLLC. In 2020, my father retired. Caleb and I continue on. We're still in Ellicottville, and we now employ an experienced staff of 8. We actually have a combined experience of well over 100 years. So what is engineering, and what is civil engineering in particular? I often tell people engineering is professional problem solving. So we just work through an organized process that tries to arrive at what we call the near optimal solution, which is a solution that meets the project's needs. It accounts for things like schedule and regulations. Civil engineering is the practice in engineering that focuses on the built world around us, which means roads, bridges, buildings, and utility systems. At MDA Engineers, we provide services on a range of project types, from small things like septic systems to planning and local zoning approvals, to our focus area, which is private and public utility systems. Municipal utility systems are our greatest strength at MDA, and they're our main focus and our largest projects. These projects are often complex. They can take a number of years to work through, from the initial reports that identify the problem to finding funding and grants that can allow it to proceed to design, bidding, and ultimately construction. Over the many years that MDA has been in business, we've had the opportunity to come alongside numerous communities that have public water and wastewater systems in Cattaraugus County, Southern Erie County, as well as Chautauqua and Allegheny County. And these utility systems, they form the core infrastructure of these communities. They form the core infrastructure, and they allow us to have the standard of living that we enjoy and that we expect. They're a resource that we need to steward as a community. They need to be safe, they need to be reliable, and they need to be affordable. And we're blessed to be a part of maintaining and improving these systems in these communities. We believe that we can be a valuable resource to the communities. You see, we don't just work here, we live here, and we believe that gives us a unique ability to understand the people and the problems in the communities that we're working with. You don't have to go to Buffalo or Rochester to find the professional services you need that we provide. We're right here. I just want to say that I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to participate in the Laine Business Accelerator cohort this year. From when Tom first spoke to me about it, I knew that as an engineer who had gone to college for engineering and not business, I had a lot of room for growth in running a business effectively alongside my business partner, Caleb. And through the program, I found take-home after take-home that I know are going to help me be more effective and efficient in meeting my clients' needs. Seeing the leaders and the business owners and the mentors that were contributing to this program and that were working so diligently to raise this county, it made me honored to be among them. I love living in Cattaraugus County, and I'm so glad that I can run a local business that can meet a fundamental need here. So what can you do now that you know a little bit about MDA? Bring us your problems. We're professional problem solvers. So if you run into a utility problem or hear one in your community, tell your local officials, your mayor, your town board, your town supervisor, that there's an experienced local consultant that they can call that can help them with their problem. We're excited to come alongside your community and help you solve the needs at hand. I want to conclude by just saying that I'm thankful for your time listening to me introduce MDA, and I want to say I'm thankful for the LBA for empowering me to even better serve my community in this area. So thank you.
All right, next up we have Sharon Alexis Tom with Olean Carpet Cleaning.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sharon Alexis Tom, and I am the co-owner and business manager of Olean Carpet Cleaning. I stand here tonight not only as a business owner, but as a wife, a mother, and a grateful member of this community. My husband, Murphy, is my partner in life and in every adventure we've taken, including the business journey that brought us to where we are today. Before I tell you how we ended up running a carpet cleaning company in Western New York, I'd like to step back to where my story begins. Murphy and I were born and raised in Trinidad, where we grew up in church and served as Sunday school teachers. I served as president of the Rotary Community Corps, and we were both deeply involved in the Boy Scouts Association. Murphy was a Group Scout leader, and I proudly served as a Cub Scout leader beside him. And let me brag on him for a moment. Murphy was named Best Scout Leader in the entire country. receiving an award from the president. That's how I knew he was good husband material. Professionally, I worked at RBTT Bank and Murphy worked at Baker Hughes Intech, but our entrepreneurial spirits was strong. Together, we founded Wild Country Adventures, offering outdoor recreational experiences and team-building programs. Those years taught us resilience, discipline, and the importance of showing up for people. Moving to the United States meant leaving my family behind, a deeply emotional season for me. With faith, determination, and hope, we arrived with just 2 suitcases each, ready to pursue the American dream and build a new life. I dreamed of opening a Caribbean restaurant, but life had other plans. In 2007, we learned about a struggling carpet cleaning business that was for sale, one that was founded in 1998. Many would have walked away, but something in our spirit said, "This is your chance." We prayed, took a leap of faith, and stepped into an industry we never imagined joining. Those early years were intense. We worked 7 days a week, rebuilding trust and restoring a business with a damaged reputation. We poured everything into showing our community who we were, dependable, hardworking, and committed. As things stabilized, we expanded our services. The work was demanded, but every challenge strengthened us. As demand grew, we hired employees, but without the right infrastructure, it became difficult. So we adapted, streamlined, and focused on delivering exceptional quality in the areas we specialized in. Today, Olean Carpet Cleaning proudly serves Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, Allegheny, Erie, McKean, and Potter counties. Our services include carpet and upholstery cleaning, tile and grout cleaning and resealing, VCT stripping and waxing, hardwood floor cleaning, and finishing. We've earned 5-star ratings on Google, Facebook, Yelp, and Angie, thanks to honesty, consistency, and genuine relationships. We operate like a true mom-and-pop business. We listen, we care, and we treat every space like our own. And every van wrap you see, every graphic, and even our website, that's Murphy's work. He is very creative. I personally handle most client calls, offering free estimates, flexible scheduling, and support for after hours or emergency needs. I always joke, pet accidents, kid messes, and the area around husbands' recliners are the top reasons people call us. Life happens. Our job is to make it a little cleaner and easier. We've served thousands of homes and respected organizations like St. Bonaventure University, Aramark, McCone Industries, Valley View Dental, Howard Hanna, Bartlett Country Club, and the new Hobby Lobby. And I see many of my clients are right here in the audience. Thank you for trusting us to take care of your homes and your businesses. In addition to Olean Carpet Cleaning, Murphy and I run Panvini Films, a video production company we launched when I was 6 months pregnant. And many of you know our son as Planet Marcus, the creative, joyful voice behind a YouTube channel. And I have to admit, even I'm in awe of the talent and creativity those two bring into our lives. I'm blessed to serve the community just as I did in Trinidad. I volunteer in my son's classrooms, serve with the Allegheny Limestone PTO and Music Boosters, take photos at Gator football games, and volunteer at YMCA Barracuda swim meets. Every year, we proudly sponsor a team in the Allegheny Little League. And if there's one thing everyone who knows me will tell you, it is that I am super organized. Whether it's running the business, managing schedules, or coordinating events, I bring structure, care, and steadiness to everything I do. My son jokes that I know everybody everywhere we go, and he might be right. The friendships I've made have become my family. Our next step is to transform the barn on our property into a dedicated workspace and office. Right now, equipment is stored in multiple places, which slows us down during our busiest seasons. Renovating the barn will allow us to centralize everything, as well as protect our valuable equipment with necessary heated storage. It will give us room to expand our inventory, create a proper area for scheduling and clients, and provide the space we need to house and train future employees. We will also be hiring in the new year. So if you know someone reliable and eager to learn, please send them our way. This renovation is the missing piece, the foundation that will allow our experience, our demand, and our vision to fully align. We had contractors at the barn this week reviewing the space and preparing estimates for the renovation. As we begin this process, we would truly appreciate any help, support, or guidance you may be willing to share. Joining the Laine Business Accelerator has truly been a transformative experience for me. For years, I worked in the business, rarely on it. The program gave me space to reflect, plan, and grow. It reminded me that I'm building a legacy for my family and my community. To the LBA team and my fellow cohorts, thank you for your honesty, your guidance, your stories, your support, and your unwavering encouragement. I am truly grateful for each of you. And remember, I promised to cook a Trinidadian meal for all of you, so we definitely need to have a reunion soon. And to my husband, Murphy, thank you for supporting me every step of the way. Your belief in me is my anchor. If you want to learn more about our business, please feel free to scan the QR code on the screen. And if you're on Facebook, we'd really appreciate it if you could like, share, and follow our page. As always, we are deeply grateful for your support in shopping local, using our services, and helping us continue to grow. I love this community. My family is thriving here, and I want this region to continue growing for generations to come. I thank God for every blessing and lesson along the way. Thank you all for your time tonight. I am excited for what comes next. And of course, go Bills.
Last but not least, David Preston with Preston Personal Training.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dave Preston, Preston Personal Training. We have a studio here in Olean where we offer one-on-one personal training, group personal training, remote coaching, nutrition, corporate wellness programs, and education workshops. Preston Personal Training starts with my own personal journey. This is me, 17 years old, 300 pounds, full of anxiety and depression. I decided I didn't want to feel like that anymore, so I found a gym and I fell in love with fitness. I got in shape and I did my first bodybuilding show right here on this stage. I'm grateful to be back tonight wearing a lot more clothes. After the bodybuilding, I switched to strongman and powerlifting, where I also did well and won a lot of competitions. And people started asking for advice and tips. And if you'd have told me 15 years ago that I'd be standing on this stage talking about fitness and business, I would have laughed and wouldn't have believed you in a million years. But after helping people work on their own fitness goals, I realized that it felt better than any trophy that I've ever won in my entire life, and I decided to become a personal trainer. So I put out an ad. Looking back, probably one of the most obnoxious ads I've ever seen. One person actually answered the ad, and if she hadn't, I wouldn't be standing on this stage tonight. And she's here with us, and this is Tracy. Tracy, thanks for coming. Can you tell us why Preston Personal Training?
So, my name is Tracy Joskoka. I have worked at In Tandem for almost 30 years, taking care of other people, never myself. So I found the biggest, burliest guy on the internet, because, I'm a little stubborn. But I said, dumb it down for me. I've played roller derby, I've done cardio, I've ate salads. And come to find out, You just have to like lift heavy shit, sorry, and eat like real food, protein. So he dumbed it down for me, and here we are.
Thank you, Tracy. So after Tracy, we started to get some more phone calls and some more clients, and I realized that if I was going to continue to grow and scale, that I needed to find a place where I could train clients one-on-one in a private setting. So we opened the studio here in Olean, and shortly after opening the studio, Katie came along.
Hi, I'm Katie. I work for the Cattaraugus County Department of Aging and Youth Services. And I started with Dave a little over 2 years ago. I actually started because I got a gift card. The best gift card ever. Definitely changed my life. That gift card was purchased from attraction, not promotion. Definitely was somebody who shared their own story and walk with Dave that led us to Dave. And I really think that it changed the trajectory of my life. And I feel that, you know, working with the aging population, that today I feel like I can age with confidence. So thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Katie. And last but not least, after Katie, came Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen O'Dell. I have worked for the Olean City School District for 22 years as a school counselor. I started kind of on a wellness journey before my 50th birthday, doing some at-home yoga and some other things, and then my friend asked me to come to a boot camp, which sounded terrifying, but interesting. So after coming to it, I just love the community. I love the support. I've been there for over 2.5 years now. I don't think Dave understands what he's built. I mean, it feels like home when we go there. And although I don't have arms like Tracy, I keep going because someone did tell me this fall that I have Michelle Obama arms, and so that didn't hurt either. But I call them Arms by Dave.
Thank you, girls. So after Karen, we started getting more calls and more clients, and I realized at that time that I couldn't continue to grow this business on my own, and if I was going to keep going, I would need some help. So I put out another obnoxious ad, screaming for help, and along came Bryn.
Yeah, so I saw that ad and I thought, wow, this guy really needs help with his social media. But more importantly, he needed help to spread PPT's mission of bringing health to the masses. So how is he going to do that if he's inside training one-on-ones or running group fitness classes? It's not going to work. So we started youth workshop programs and also senior functional fitness programs, which are very important. We also have been rolling out corporate wellness programs because if you didn't know this, sitting inside of a cubicle is just as bad as smoking a pack of cigarettes. Sorry to break it to you. But most importantly, we do a lot of community partnerships. It's kind of a really nice way of tricking people into moving their bodies when you say, hey, there's gonna be puppies or kittens there. And we also partnered with CA BOCES to educate educators on health and wellness. We also work with lots of local farms and caterers to sneak in that protein and also lure you into our studio with food. But most importantly, our clients are what is at the core of everything we do.
Thanks, Bryn. So our mission statement is to help as many people as we possibly can with their health and fitness goals. We've already helped 2,367 clients, and we're shooting for 1 million. We can't do that without your help. If you liked our story tonight and you want to help, you can do so by following us on our social media. You can share our story with others. If you know of any businesses that could utilize our services, you can have them contact us. And to kind of get everybody woke back up after this, we want to finish with a quick workout. We're going to show everybody how to burn a few calories really fast. Bryn's going to take you through it.
It's super easy, so if you want to join in, we're all going to stand up real quick. Spread those feet out hip width apart, and I just want everyone to glue their elbows down to their side. And we're gonna open up nice and wide, and then bring our hands together. Open up nice and wide, bring your hands together. Faster, faster, everybody. Bring those hands together. Woo!
Uh-oh, I just messed up. So I won't share my story, but I'm gonna probably eat some pizza tonight, Dave. So just breaking it to you. So now comes the fun part of our evening. I'm gonna leave that there. What we're gonna do now is I would like to invite Jim Stitt and Marianne Laine up to the stage, and I know we've got some other dignitaries here that might have some stuff for our great cohort. So how about a round of applause for all 8 of them? In most cases, they've never presented before. David was not real appreciative that we made him wait until the end to go because he talked about his anxiety and depression as a youngster, and that didn't go away, he says. I don't believe him right now, but I'm sure that he feels differently than we do. So Marianne, Jim, Joe, we have George. So again, now comes the fun part. So we are going to, so Jim and Marianne, we've got checks there. So I don't know if anybody knows, but we, as Tom said, 155 applicants in the past, 38 selected, 8 this year. Everybody gets $5,000 for being selected. So a lot of folks have asked us how we run our program. They're like, how much do people pay to get into your program? And we kind of look at them really funny, like, I don't know what you mean. We give them money. It's our honor to help them. So tonight, I'm going to call up one at a time, and Jim and Marianne are going to present checks, and then George and Joe are going to present some certificates of appreciation for what's going on. So I'm going to start with Josh and Fuller's Fabrication. Come on up, Elise. We're going to have you guys do a photo opportunity. If you guys can step up there, maybe out of it, I'll get you guys the checks. We're going to get you into the light so that you're able to do it. So Elise is over here to the left. And then after these pictures, if you guys could, so Josh, if you want to go back and grab what you got from George and Joe, that would be great. Next up, I want to welcome Molly Vaughn in 1907 Wax. It really is fun to watch these guys because they started last Friday presenting, and I don't think they were really happy with us. But by last night, you saw the picture that Tom took at the end of the night, and now you guys saw them all kill it tonight. So it's really fun to watch. So Molly, you go back there. So next up, I'm going to welcome Jeff Andrews and Pine Hill Cattle Company. Forgot that part. Hopefully you can get them all in, Elise. There's a little difference in size, maybe. Next up, I'm going to get Mr. Brian Rodman in Turbo Machining. I almost keep forgetting that part. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Again, it's really fun to see this. These guys have put a lot of time and effort in, 3 hours every Friday for the last 14 weeks, a couple of nights. So we're really thankful that you guys are all in. Next up, we have Shana Griffin and Door Boards. You guys will get to partake in the charcuterie that's over at the Student Center if you head over that way. It's pretty amazing. It really is turning food into art. if anybody was here last year, Shana did it for us last year as well over in the hub. So next up, we've got Jake Alianello and MDA Consulting Engineers. I keep forgetting that part. I'm falling behind. I'm going to grab the next one so I hold it. Thanks, Sean, for keeping us organized. I don't know if Sean's still here, but he's got us totally organized, and I'm messing it up, so I apologize, Sean. Next up, Sharon Alexis Tom and Olean Carpet Cleaning. All right, and finishing it for us, David Preston and Preston Personal Training. So I drank the Kool-Aid, and David's helping me right now, too. So we're almost done, and it's almost time to head over to the Student Center in the hatch. But we do one last thing each year. This will be the 4th annual Jim Stitt Community Builder of the Year Award. So these folks don't know who won. We asked them, it's not on us, we asked them to talk about and suggest who might be the most efficient community builder in the cohort. So they get to vote. Most people don't even know who it's going to be. Jim obviously started OBDC with Dan DeRose about 10 years ago now. And obviously, you've heard the Laine Business Accelerator. Marianne comes every year and represents her husband, her late husband, Eric. That's why we're here. Entrepreneurship is alive and well in Olean, and it's continuing to thrive. Every year, I think we're not going to have anybody apply, and we just keep having more and more. So it's incredible to be around these entrepreneurs. So I want to hand it over to Jim and Marianne to hand out the Jim Stitt Community Builder of the Year Award.
And the winner is, where's the drum roll? Preston Personal
Training.
Okay. We're going to have photos after this for everybody. But here's what you need to know. The after party starts in about 118 seconds, and it is right across there. And so outside the door, follow the signs. Instead of being at the hub this year, we're keeping it right on campus. There are bags for everyone as you leave. Do not forget to grab them. Does anyone know what 86,400 is? It's the number of seconds in a day. In your bags, you have a wristband that looks like this, and it has that number on it. This group makes every second count. Take it home and make every second count. We will see you Tuesday in December next year. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys.
So on your way out, you're going to see a blue bag. These folks have put some time and energy into some small gifts, some coupons in some cases. We also have T-shirts that represent support local everything and the names of these great business owners on the back. Love to have you all take one. It's okay, we got plenty, so don't feel like you're putting anybody else out. And then there's also calendars. Sean created a calendar for this group, and they each have their own page on a calendar. Thank goodness I didn't do that manzillion. I didn't want to be Mr. October. So thanks for the offer, Molly, but I'm glad for everybody that I didn't do that. So thanks, everyone. Again, if you head out the door, kind of over here, you'll kind of see the wayfinding signs, and we'll see you over at the after party soon.